guys, today I'm filming a baby related video. This is going to be Landon's 0 to 3 month update. I'm also going to be sharing my postpartum journey so far. This is going to be a long video. I have a lot of talking points. I will try to sum it up pretty quickly, but this is going to be at least a 30-minute video, I'm assuming. I also am not loving my makeup today. My face is looking a bit like I've got a mask on, so please forgive that. I'm also getting over being sick, so my voice is extra raspy. And if there's any weird cutting out, it's probably because I'm trying to edit out a cough. So I'm a little bit nervous about this video because mom shame on the internet is so intense. I cannot tell you the amount of stupid comments that I see on TikTok, on cute little videos, people that are just giving advice that's not needed, that are criticizing, and I hate that. I don't think I've ever given a mom unsolicited advice. I don't plan on it, and I would love that people didn't do it to me. I don't know if I've mentioned it already or not, but a while ago we had taken Landon to North Carolina. It was our first family trip. We were out at a outdoor shopping mall. Some old lady came up to us and basically shamed us for not putting a hat on him when it was 85-90 degrees outside, and I just had to turn around and roll my eyes because I was so pissed off I couldn't even pretend to be polite to her. And I don't feel bad about that at all. Apparently some comment was made about that being whatever. I don't care. I don't care. I'd do it again. I'd not say anything disrespectful to her face. I would do it again. Come over to me and tell me I have a cute baby, or don't come over to me at all. You know what I mean? I didn't even know who you were. You went out of your way to tell me I should put a hat on him when it's almost 90 degrees. Like, shut up. Thank you so much. So as you can tell, I get kind of heated about that. But there are times when I am asking for advice, and I love hearing stories. I don't think anything is wrong with sharing stories. It's just when you're trying to critique someone, like, don't. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully I don't have any of that here. If I do, I understand it comes with the territory and I can only do so much. And with that, I'm going to start this video by describing 3 ways that I'm a bad mom. And of course, this is coming from the way of like, I'm gonna say it before someone says it to me and hurts my feelings kind of thing. And it's really crazy because there are a couple things where I'm like, I'm never gonna do that, and I've already done it. And the first one of those is I wouldn't let Landon sleep in our bed. I had totally said, like, that's not gonna happen. We have a crib in the nursery / beauty room, and then we have a bassinet beside our bed. I was like, he can go in the bassinet. He's not gonna sleep in our bed. Landon has slept in our bed every single night. Every single night since he's been born, he has slept in our bed. And in that DockATot, which is something that I had featured in my pregnancy and newborn baby must-haves, I'll have that linked in the card. I've also shared my labor and delivery story, which I will link up in the cards as well. But he has slept in our bed. And with that DockATot, it is very safe, so you don't really have to worry about rolling over on top of him. It basically is like a inflatable. It's so high on the sides, which is great. And I know a lot of people have said their babies end up sleeping in the bed because they're breastfeeding in the middle of the night and whatnot. And for me, it's just like, we tried it and we were so exhausted, especially in those first couple weeks when he's waking up every 2 hours or so. We were so exhausted, and me getting some sleep was more important to me than sleep training a 1-month-old. So I would love to get him into the bassinet. Justin and I are going to work on it. It's something that I would love to look into, sleep training, and this is where I would love your advice on sleep training, good resources, good ways that you guys have gotten your baby out of the bed into a bassinet. Please let me know. I would really, really love some advice with that. So that was like the first thing I said I would never do that I've already done. The second thing is that I said I would let my baby cry, because I actually have been a babysitter since I was in middle school for babies, and I have let several babies cry. And I know that sounds kind of bad, but basically, like, when you know that you've done absolutely everything and they're just tired and not wanting to go to sleep, like, it basically was like a baby one time and then like a toddler that I just had to sit on the floor by the bed and turn the lights off and let them cry themselves to sleep. And it was hard, but I was able to do it. I've not been able to do it with Landon. When it is your own baby, it is different, and it kills me to listen to him cry. About, I guess, maybe like a month in, we had put him in the crib with the monitor, and he was just crying. He was crying, and it made me cry. I was just crying. It made me so sad to hear him cry. And babies can cry for such a long time, and that's the thing. He is going to outlast us. Justin tried to do it the other night and got so frustrated, he just picked him up. But his crying will outlast our patience, and it creates so much anxiety in me to listen to him cry. So I pick him up every single time he cries. I said I would not do that. I have done that. And the third thing that makes me a bad mom is that my son is 100% formula fed. I do not breastfeed. I do not pump. Long story short, it didn't work for us. So he was having a really hard time latching at first, and I also wasn't really producing breast milk at first. It was just a bunch of colostrum. When we took him to his first appointment, he had dropped a lot of weight from his birth weight, so she told me to try supplementing some formula, and we already had this really great organic formula. I mentioned it in our must-haves video that was gifted to us. We tried it, it worked well, and it was so nice to be able to know how much he's eating, because when he be breastfeeding, I have no idea how much he's actually consuming, and I feel like he's getting a lot more with a bottle, and he'll be full for longer, which is great. So I was having trouble latching, so I used the shields that my amazing friend Emily had gifted me. Again, in my must-haves video, I said how appreciative I was for my friend Emily, who was a mom, and she got me all the non-fun stuff that I absolutely needed, like the little cotton that you put in your bra that will like soak up breast milk so it's not staining all of your bras. That's an essential. And then the shields, and basically they're like silicone-y, like, you know, when you like stick the silicone I don't know why I'm doing this, I can't think of the word, onto the wall. They have like the little hooks on them, like that basically. So you just kind of have to get them wet and they stick right to your skin, and that worked very well. He was able to latch much better using those, but Landon would eat and like thrash his head all around, and it would pull it off my skin, which would make him pissed off, and I'm trying to readjust it. Also, my boobs are pretty big. I would say huge, but I know there are a lot of people who have bigger boobs than me. And I feel like I was suffocating that boy. For people that have really big boobs, how do you like hold your baby's head and hold your boob to not, you know, suffocate them? I'd love to know. But yeah, because of that, it was just a frustrating experience for him. It was frustrating for me, and I just was like, sit still, and it just wasn't working. Then I did try pumping. I have a good breast pump, and the issue was that it didn't come with a band. I went to Target to try to buy a band, and I got a large. That thing came to like here. It was nowhere close to zipping up, and I didn't think I was that big, but apparently I am, and there were no extra larges available. I was afraid to buy it online because I thought even an extra large might not fit me, and I didn't want to have something I couldn't return, especially because I think those are like $20, $25 or something like that. So I had to sit there and hold them with my hands for 30 minutes. That's a long time. And especially Justin did not have as much time as I did. He only had 2 weeks of paid time off, which really sucked. So he wasn't able to hold Landon while I was doing that and have me do it multiple times a day to actually have something. And that's a shame. I basically was able to just pump enough for him to be able to eat a little bit. I think the most I ever pumped was 3 ounces, which was super exciting, but I didn't consistently do it enough to keep up that flow. And it is true, if you don't use it, you lose it, because I'm not leaking at all anymore. I feel like I'm completely dried up. I did actually also, before I went back to work, I bought a hand pump because I thought, okay, I can work and like pump with one-handed. No, that has not worked for me either, because work has been so busy. I need both my hands to type on the computer so that I can work more efficiently. And I'm also holding Landon a lot throughout the day, so I don't have this extra time to hand pump either. So I actually think it may have been worth it for me to get the LV, because I can just literally put that in a bra and it will do the work for me. I think that would have worked better for me in retrospect, but also I'm not sure. So I'm kind of glad I didn't spend the $500 in case it wouldn't have worked for me. But also I know that there are so many amazing benefits to breastfeeding or pumping, like that's still breast milk. And that's not what I'm doing. And I think the formula we have is great. He's been growing very strong, very healthy, progressing just like he should. So it's not, as far as I can tell, holding him back in any way. But I really only feel bad about it when someone's asking me how breastfeeding is going, because people are assuming that I'm breastfeeding and I'm not. I at first was telling people that I'm doing both when I wasn't, and now I'm just like, no, he's just eating formula. And nobody's made me feel bad about it when I tell them the truth that it's just formula, but I feel guilty about it every single time somebody asks me. And again, he's growing healthy and strong. And let me tell you, formula is so expensive. He is going through it so fast right now. And that formula is like $25 a container. We're going through it so fast. Luckily, they sell it at Whole Foods. My sister just quit Whole Foods, so she had been buying it there and was saving us $5 a box, which was fantastic with her employee discount. So now we're gonna have to buy from Target, but we do have some Target store credit to use as well. So we're gonna do that. It's very expensive. It is so expensive. So it would be much cheaper to use a natural supply. And I can't believe that people are able to make so much to freeze it. And I'm just saying, way to go, moms out there that are taking the time to pump that much throughout the day. Because I'm like, your baby already eats a bunch throughout the day. So if you are having them eat and then you're pumping enough to have this huge supply, like that's amazing, good for you. So yeah, those are the 3 ways that I'm a bad mom so far. He's 100% formula fed. He sleeps in our bed and I pick him up every time he cries. And as far as what his milestones have been so far, luckily I've shared a ton of stuff with you guys on Instagram. I have a saved highlight. I have a bunch of pictures and videos of him on my feed. So definitely go check that out. I'll have my Instagram down below. And for my 4 to 6 month update, I'm going to take a note on my phone of all of the accomplishments, because I'm not thinking of the things off the top of my head. The main things that I would say is that we haven't even done like lay on the mat tummy time a ton, but we have him lay on us all the time, lay on the couch, lay on the changing table. He holds his head up so well. It was either at his like 1 month or 2 month like picture when he had completely held his head up perfectly, and I was just so impressed by that, because he has a big head. So he has a very strong neck. He has no issue holding up his head. He's not weeble wobbling all over the place. And another thing that he accomplished was that he's able to sit up. So we would just have our fingers like this and he would grab on and he would pull himself up, and now he is able to sit up without any assistance, which is really cute. I did post a video of that on my Instagram. I was like pushing him back and he was like popping right on up. I'm filming this video very late. I'm actually filming this on his 4 month update day. So we have to take his picture today, but it's 4 months now, and I'm just trying to tell you the things that happened in those first like birth to 3 month time span. So those, and he smiles all the time, which I love. At first he just smiled at Justin, of course, but now he smiles all the time, which I love. His smile is absolutely the cutest, and I feel like he's gonna start teething soon, because he already is like drooling a lot. He's chomping all over our fingers, so I feel like teeth are about to jump out of there any minute now. And I'm excited for our next update, because we are going to go to our doctor's appointment soon. He had a 2 month update and we haven't seen him since then. So we're having a 4 month checkup coming up very soon, and I'm so excited for that, because I have so many things to ask her about teething and about introducing baby food. I'm really excited for that. So far I put a little bit of jelly in his mouth, and of course he just like spit it out. It went absolutely everywhere. It was hilarious. And I think it's just because he's only used to drinking milk. So I'm really excited to try that and see how that goes with him. So that's basically everything that I can think of about Landon right now. I will give you more thoughts on my 4 to 6 month update, which again will be for several months. But like, he's changed so much in this time. I literally, like, I can't think of it. Sleeping through the night, it's been a journey. We have where he was waking up every couple hours, where we couldn't get him to go to sleep. Then we had a week where he slept for like 6 hours straight, which is amazing. Then we have where he wakes up once in the middle of the night and we feed him, he goes right back to sleep, and then we'll sleep until 6, 7, or 8. So it's been a journey. It's all over the place. So recently our AC had been broken, so we were sleeping on the couch and we were holding him all night. So he slept all night long. He sleeps very well when we hold him, but of course we don't want to do that. So the sleep has been a journey. I do have one product recommendation here that I did not mention in my recommendations video. I told you guys that I did not like the Cloud Island bibs, and I don't, but the ones that I do like would be these Neat Solutions bandana bibs. They have a bunch of different kinds, but these are their bandana bibs. They come in a pack of 3, and we already have one set, and then I just bought 2 more. They had just this pattern. They might have other patterns, but this is all my store had, so I bought the same prints because I love these. These are going to be our go-tos. We do have some other ones that I'm sure I'll use, but I do like these the best because the Velcro is very strong, and also these are very wide. They're pretty long, so it does cover up a lot of his body, which is great. And these are very soft as well, so I feel like we can leave these on him all day long so that we can wipe up slobber, or if he does start to puke, we can pretty quickly, you know, wipe that up before it gets on his clothes. So I definitely recommend these. I think these are super nice. And that's one other random thing. He also had been throwing up a lot. I guess between like 2 months and 4 months, he'd been puking a lot. He's gotten a lot better at it, and we do burp him, so I don't know what the deal was, but I have gotten so good at knowing when he's going to throw up, and I am constantly catching it. But that also is because, like I told you guys in my must-haves video, I have a burp cloth in 4 different places. That way we always have one at the ready when we need it. And I did buy 2 packs of the same one so that I've got, you know, 2 of each design so that they each stay in their designated place so I'm able to find them. Justin cannot find a burp cloth to save his life. It is so irritating. I will give Landon to him. I will put the burp cloth on Justin's lap, on his shoulder, right behind him on the couch, somewhere, and then whenever we need it, somehow it's missing. Somehow Justin is sitting on it or he has lost it. He literally can never find it when I perfectly place it beside him. I will even point out to him where it is before I leave the room, and he always loses them, and it drives me bonkers, which is why Justin's not good at catching a puke, but I am. So yay me, I'm a good puke catcher. So now on into my postpartum journey. So first I wanted to talk about the literal like aftercare of your nether regions after you push baby out of it. And there was a lot, and luckily the nurses there did a great job, were very helpful with me, give me all the stuff, telling me how to put it all on. So they do give you those like thin, high-waisted cotton underwear. They give you some ice packs that you can put in, as well as these witch hazel pads. And then they have postpartum pads as well. And the first time that I put all that stuff on, one of the nurses helped me, and she just did the ice pack. So I actually used an ice pack every single day because I actually didn't even realize that the postpartum pads were up there. She didn't mention them, so I never used them. I just had used the ice pack, which felt very nice and cooling. And these witch hazel pads are nice as well. You just have to like, I would put like 2 on and stand very still to pull the underwear up. And I did ask for extras, which I totally recommend. I did not ask for extras of the postpartum pads, which I wish that I did, but again, like I said, I didn't realize they were there until we were leaving the hospital. So get doubles of everything if you can, and all those things are super helpful to use. And I actually did buy some Depends because I was bleeding a lot at first, and those are fine, but they came up really high. they're like ruched, so they were like a little irritating to my skin, but they weren't terrible. And of course it just felt super weird to wear a diaper. I would say if you have like period underwear, basically not like the actual underwear that like you buy to soak up your period blood, which is very gross to me, but just like, you know how when you're on your period you wear like your crap underwear, right? So wear those and just get postpartum pads or big overnight pads. That's what I would recommend. Get the ones with wings so they stay in place. I don't think you need extra special stuff. I would say just use that, and then getting these witch hazel pads really helps because they're very cooling. And the biggest thing, especially if like me you had any stitches, is that you don't wipe with toilet paper. You use this cleansing bottle, which you just fill up with warm water, and I would just use the whole thing every time I went to the bathroom. But the only thing that sucks is that for some reason our sink takes forever for the water to get warm. So sometimes I'm really happy to go to the bathroom and I'm sitting here trying to fill this up because cold doesn't feel so good, but warm is nice. But what's really crazy is that I actually peed my pants a couple times. Once I was like at the bathtub filling this up, and I was trying to hold my pee and hold my pee in, and then I realized something was trickling down my leg, and I had in my head I'm thinking that I'm tightening to hold my pee in, and my body was not doing that, and it just went all over me, and that was disgusting and also hilarious because I've heard that like you'll have a hard time holding it or whatnot, but like that was insane. It was like I wasn't holding it at all. It was like a completely let go, and that is not my intention. And then I did pee myself a couple of times when I sneezed or when I coughed, I would pee. So luckily having that pad on already soaked it up and it was fine, but it was like the weirdest thing ever. And again, wearing those Depends just feels weird. It does feel like you're wearing a diaper. So like I said, I would recommend just getting overnight pads, putting them in underwear you don't love, and then using this to cleanse. And then really I use just this to wash, or you know, to rinse off after I peed. I used just this for the first 6 weeks, I think, because I was just really afraid of irritating my stitches, but I didn't like doing that. It didn't make me feel as clean, but that's why I used the whole thing. And I was really scared my first poop because I've heard it's kind of scary, and luckily for me it didn't hurt, but I actually used some like stool softener just because I was so nervous about it, and it was fine. It didn't hurt too bad. And I did wipe for that. I did use some of this, but then I did actually wipe. So I still have this bottle, but I think that they are right. That is a good thing to have. So then let's talk about the mental and the other physical postpartum things that have happened. So first, I was convinced that I was gonna have postpartum anxiety and depression, and I haven't, which is amazing. And the reason I was convinced is because I was prone to both of those things beforehand. I would feel randomly depressed for no reason at all, and you know, I just wouldn't want to do anything all day. I wouldn't say that I have anxiety. I do about certain things for different periods of my life. I've had more than others, but I haven't been depressed at all since having him, and I'm super happy with that. I know that it can like come up later or whatever, but I haven't had that. I've had days where I'm like overwhelmed, but no days where I was like really sad or depressed. I think I have a lot to be really happy about, and I do think it was helpful that I was able to take 3 months off of work to be with him. It wasn't all paid, which I mentioned to you guys. It wasn't all paid, but I was still able to spend that time with him. Justin is working from home, so I did have that help. So I didn't have any of that, which is amazing. The only anxiety I've had is just like, I can't listen to him cry. I have to like run and pick him up right away. Like that, a little bit of anxiety there, but not like I'm scared of all this stuff happening to him or feeling really like nervous and anxious for any reason or for no reason. I'm not having that, which is amazing. I'm so thankful. Justin was like, you're wishing that upon yourself. And again, like I said, I had such an easy pregnancy. I had an easy labor. I'm just waiting for the shoe to drop, and it hasn't. God is blessing me, and I really appreciate that. So these are going to feel like a little bit random and out of order. I just have a list of things here that I wanted to mention. So I don't forget anything, I'm just going to read them off here. I have had my period already. And when I had my 6 weeks follow-up with my doctor, She did go ahead and prescribe me birth control again, and apparently there are different kinds that you can take for people that are intending to breastfeed. Like I said, I didn't end up breastfeeding, but that was my plan. So it's called Erin is the brand that I'm using. And when it got to that last month of the birth control pack, I started my period. So I am back to it. It is not super heavy, which is great. And I used to have heavy periods before I got on birth control. With birth control, it kept my periods to only be a couple of days, not be too heavy. And that's what it's like again now. I never had cramps before. I still don't have cramps now. So I'm super happy with that, but I do have my period back. And I did want to be on birth control, so Justin and I can decide when we want to have another baby, you know what I mean? So next would be hair loss, hair growth. So I have already gotten some hair growth at the nape of my neck. I have a lot of pieces like this long, and I almost always keep my hair up, but Landon has been grabbing those pieces on the back, and I'm like, brother, like I can't put it up if I wanted to. Like I have a lot of pieces like this long. It's really weird and ugly. But my hair has started to fall out a lot more as well, which I know is super common. So in the shower, I always have some hair come out. When I brush my hair, I always have some hair come out, but it's been significantly more. So I don't feel like I have any bald patches, or my hair, like when I hold it, it feels like it's that much thinner, which is great. But I do think I want to keep an eye on that. I might want to use some other products. I do have a Bosley shampoo and conditioner, like liter size, that I probably should go ahead and start using. I have some like thickening treatments, scalp treatments from Derma E. My mom had gotten me these like pregnancy subscription boxes, and one of them had a hair growth serum in it, but it was from like a no-name brand, so I honestly feel like it's probably like just a bunch of BS in there. But I might start trying some of those things. I'll definitely let you know if I'm noticing like patches missing or if it's out of control, but I will say I've significantly lost more hair since having Landon than before. But I would say that like my nails are still growing just as long. They're the same strength. Basically for me, my nails grow very long, but I have to have polish on them at all times. If I give my nails a break for a day, my nail is gonna break, and it's gonna break at the meat. That is always what happens. And then I'll have a stub, and then the rest of them will be very long. Another thing is my stretch marks, and I have a bunch. I was not good. I did not take care of my body while I was pregnant. I did use some stretch mark lotion. I can't remember the name of it, but I hated it. It balled up really bad on my skin. It got on my clothes. It was disgusting. One of my friends said that the Neutrogena body oil, her sister wore that when she was pregnant and never got any stretch marks. And I kept trying to find that in store and I wasn't able to, but I should have just bought it on Amazon. So if I could have gone back in time, I would have done that. And since having Landon, I've tried to be better about it. And I am using the Derma E Scar Gel. I had gotten a couple of those in PR. I've used up 2 containers. I was just sent another one, so I'm gonna be using that. I'm noticing them fade a little bit, but not significantly. But I think for new scars, you're supposed to put that on multiple times a day. I was just doing it once a day, or mostly once every other day. So I wasn't using it enough where it was probably gonna be able to see any differences. I have luckily heard from a lot of people that they just tend to fade over time, or at least the color does, which is great. Mine are very pink. I have a lot on my stomach, my thighs, and on my butt, which is not very cute. But I have noticed that the ones on my thighs and butt have started to fade a bit. But I do have a lot of stretch marks. And, you know, that's just what I get for not taking care of my body and putting lotion on. And I kept being like, oh, I don't see any, I don't see any. And someone was like, Heather, the stretch marks show up after your baby comes out. And I was like, oh, wow, okay. So, yeah, I did not take care of them. Wish I had, but I'm not that upset about it. I don't look at my body and I'm like, gross. Also, I have lost some weight, not a ton of weight. Part of that probably is not breastfeeding. I know a lot of people lose a lot of weight breastfeeding, which is great. I have not picked up the exercise. I've just lost some weight naturally. I lost some weight from my face, which is great, but I do still have some fullness, got a bit of double chin. I have more of a belly than I've had before, which is a shame. Again, it's not bothering me enough to do anything about it. I'm very lazy in that way. Some other body things would be headaches, hot flashes, and acid reflux. So like I told you guys in my labor and delivery video, acid reflux was like my #1 pregnancy symptom, and I literally had it while I was giving birth to Landon, which made me so incredibly uncomfortable on top of all the other pain. And after I had Landon, it went away for about a month, and I was super excited about that. I thought, great, you know, I'm not pregnant anymore, I'm not gonna have acid reflux. And then it came back just as intense, and I did mention that Pepcid is a way to go. Tums is for kids. Pepcid is what you need if you have acid reflux. So I was having it like every single day from like 1 month to 3 months maybe, and now I just have it every once in a while, so I will still have Pepcid on hand when I need it. So when I was pregnant, I was taking it twice a day, every single day. I would have taken it more than that if I could have, and luckily right now I'm not having to, but for a couple months it was every single day, and I was like, no, why is this happening to me? Another thing is that I've been getting headaches almost every single day, and I never had headaches before. Hardly ever did I get a headache. So because I'm not used to it, it is quite bothersome to me. I do just take Tylenol and I'm fine, but like that's annoying and very bothersome. And also I'm having hot flashes. I had hot flashes when I was pregnant. I get them all the time now, and I basically would just like rip all my clothes off because I'm just so hot. Annoying, and it'll be out of nowhere too. And luckily it doesn't last for forever usually. Again, when I take my shirt off or whatever, I cool down, I feel much better, but that is something that I noticed. And then a couple other things would be body odor. I had a lot of body odor right after I gave birth, and I know that's like your hormones balancing out, but it was disgusting, and it lasted, again, about 6 weeks. And it was like my armpits smelled a lot more, my breast smelled bad too because of the milk coming out, and honestly the nether region smelled bad too. And I think part of it may have been because, you know, like I wasn't wiping, but I was using this, so it was still cleansing. I wasn't, you know, just like having pee all over me all the time. But I, especially about down there, I was so self-conscious. I felt like I smelled that was noticeable to others. So I definitely decided to like step up my shower game. I have been showering every other day, and again, luckily because there's 2 of us, I was still able to keep up with showering, but then I did start to shower more often. I was especially washing just with regular bar soap because I was incredibly self-conscious about the smell. And again, I'm being very vulnerable sharing this with you. I'm sorry, I know it's gross, but I just, you know, want to be honest with my story in case you haven't had a baby before, and maybe you have had a baby and you haven't had that experience, and like, good for you, because it's disgusting. And I was petrified for my 6 week follow-up, and I thought, oh my gosh, like if I'm still smelling and I'm supposed to go to this appointment, like that's gonna be disgusting. And luckily, like the week before, it stopped. So it was like 5 weeks I was having that issue, and it was so disgusting. So that was much better. And now my body odor has definitely calmed down. It's like normal. I just have to wear deodorant and I'm okay. I'm showering usually every other day. If I was going to the gym or being more active or sweating more, it would be every day, but I'm just doing every other day. And the only thing that is still smelling right now would be my boobs. And like I said, I don't even notice breast milk coming out, but sometimes I'll just smell like wet bread and it makes me want to vomit. It is absolutely disgusting. And it's not like other people are noticing the smell, just me, luckily, but it's disgusting. So if you're someone, well, I'll just talk about myself. I had not been the best about washing my bras probably as often as I needed to. Now I'm very good about it. I just hate that smell so much. So I'm very good about washing my bras. Now I have 2, so I'm just kind of rotating between the 2 of them. I'm still using the nursing bras just because they're very comfortable compared to other bras. So the last thing kind of goes into 2 categories where it's like one of my physical symptoms, and then also into this category that I wanted to talk about of things I'd never heard of before, and that would be Pups Rash. And I never heard of this before. Basically my stretch marks were very, very itchy, so I looked it up, and Pups Rash is very common for white first-time moms of boys, which, hello, that's me. And basically my stretch marks were so itchy, it made me cry. I was literally scratching my skin off. It bothered me so badly, and it lasted for a couple weeks, and it felt like months. It was awful. And I tried looking up online what you can do to make it go away, nothing. They told you to basically like take like Tylenol and you can put some creams on it, but some products that they recommended would be the Cerave anti-itch line. So this is the Itch Relief Moisturizing Lotion and the Itch Relief Moisturizing Cream. So our CVS only had the cream, unfortunately, because I was wanting the lotion instead, but Ulta does sell these. So I would recommend, if you have really itchy skin, get these from Ulta. You can use a coupon on them. And I used a ton of this. I would put it on a couple times a day. I was also showering more, but also that would make my skin feel a little bit more dry, so I put more on. But the issue, the reason I don't love the cream is that I was wanting to slather it on, but it felt very heavy, and when I'm scratching, it's, you know, getting all gunked up under my nails, and it just feels like I have piles and piles and piles of the cream on my skin. I'm not a lotion person in general, but this felt a little too thick for me. So I would definitely recommend the lotion. The consistency is thinner. It still is very itch relieving, but it's easy to reapply a lot more if that's what you're wanting to do, and doesn't feel so heavy on the skin. So if you like thick creams, go for the cream, but I would recommend the lotion over it. But these did help a lot. Unfortunately, I got around to going to Ulta near the end of it. I'm happy that I have these on hand in case I do feel itchy again for whatever reason. But like I said, it only lasted like 2 weeks, but it felt like forever. I had such a hard time sleeping, and this was, you know, right after giving birth, so of course we were extra tired and irritated and stressed out just having a newborn baby. And so this on top of that was really like too much for me. So I've never heard, no one I know has had it, and I would love to know if you've had it or you know of anyone that has had it. It's very interesting, but I hated it. It was very uncomfortable. So then the other two things that I had never really heard about before would be breast buds, and basically Landon lactated. Like if you squeezed, like milk came out, and it was like, what the heck? At first me and Justin were like, what is that? And Justin squeezed because he's a freaking nature, and like milk came out. We were like, excuse me. So we asked the doctor, like, what the heck is that? She's like, oh, that's breast buds, that's normal. So it didn't really happen again, although I wouldn't let Justin try. I was like, you better leave that boy alone. But that was very weird. I never heard of that. And the other thing is something that new that I had heard of this year, but not before this year, and that was baby acne. I thought that was crazy. I think Raw Beauty Christy said that her baby had some baby acne, if I'm not mistaken. Landon definitely had some, like right here. I do have a picture of it. I will insert. And of course, I had more acne too. He definitely had some around his mouth, and I think it was just because I was kissing him so much. And maybe I had chapstick on my lips or whatever. I don't know what it was, but I also was getting it too, more around this area. So it definitely could have been hormones for the both of us, or it could have been because I was kissing him so much. But he definitely had some baby acne up here, and I wasn't sure if we just weren't washing his face enough or what. And he gets it every once in a while, but it's not that bad anymore, luckily. But I just thought that was so bizarre. And I've heard that if you put breast milk on it, it can make them go away. I never did that. They just kind of went away on their own, but I thought that was pretty interesting. So guys, this was a little bit all over the place, and that's how these videos are probably going to be. I feel like I'm really good at being very concise and thorough at the same time, and like I have a good flow when reviewing makeup, but for these videos it's just something I'm not used to doing, so I'm a bit all over the place. I'm trying to be better with my note taking, so I will have more to talk about Landon in the next update. But yeah, this was a little bit about Landon, a lot of bit about me, of course. And like I said, I would love your tips, and this is where I'm asking for advice on sleep training, because we need to start doing it. I'm very anxious even thinking about it, and I would love your tips. And I'm sorry if I came off strong at the beginning of the video, but it's just like the amount of people that give unsolicited advice and really critique moms when people are just playing and whatever is so annoying, like so annoying. Everything has a risk. Everything does. I just saw Raw Beauty Christy had her son in a walker, and people were like, walkers are so bad. They're not good for your hips, the baby's hips. Oh. Shut up, y'all. You know that tons of people use those. As long as you don't have your baby in there all day, it should be fine. But it's just like, ugh, everything has a risk. You're gonna put your kid in a bubble? Like, just nothing is gonna be perfect for everybody, okay? Like, I'm trying not to like overanalyze and really like overly stress about stuff. I feel like we're doing a good job. Could we be better? Of course we could. I feel like we're doing a good job. I also, before we end, I've had a lot more patience than I expected to because I get upset very quickly. It's very easy for me to ruin my own day, and I am very patient with him, and even more patient than Justin, which is surprising because, again, not very many things upset Justin. He is not as impatient as me in general, but I definitely have a lot of patience for Landon, which is good because we need that to balance each other out. There are times where we're like, please take him, he's driving me crazy. Like times where he just won't stop crying. But really, it was like 2 weeks in, I told Justin, I was like, I can't do this. This is so hard. And that's, again, because he was waking up every couple hours, and for you to wake up every couple hours, you just can't like fully sleep. And of course, as soon as he falls asleep, I'm not falling asleep right away. I'm laying there for 30-45 minutes. So I'm only sleeping for maybe an hour before I'm waking back up. And that, after 2 weeks, really got to me. But for the most part, I'm very patient with him. I'm handling it very well, and Justin and I do a good job of taking turns, and we'll be like, okay, I'll go take him on the couch so you can go back to sleep or whatever. We do a really great job supporting each other. My sister also lives here, and she was in school, she works, so she's not able to be our primary daycare, which, you know, is what our hope was at first, but she does help. That will be something I talk about, and my next update is daycare. Luckily, I don't have to worry about it yet because we're still working from home, so between the two of us, we're able to take care of him. I'm not looking forward to that. Each one of his like milestones so far has made me cry because I'm like so proud of him, but it makes me sad too. Oh, I just remembered something else, but I think that's something that happened between 3 and 4 months, so I'll put it in my note and mention it in my next update. But I've shared it on Instagram already. So anyway, guys, if you want to see more pictures of Landon, videos of Landon, go follow me on Instagram. I have a ton of things there. I think he's the cutest baby in the world. I love him so much. I would love for you guys to love him as much as I do. And I really appreciate if you guys watch this video. I know this is not makeup content. You guys might not be interested at all. So if you're here, I appreciate it. And I know this was long. So I want to thank you all so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.